What is going on, and welcome back. It is the Armchair Fantasy Show. It is the first show of 2025, and we have this little event that we have this weekend called Super Bowl 59. Of course, we're going to be talking about that tonight. We got two great guests coming on tonight, a fan of each of the teams, both members of Going for2. Of course, I've loaded up the roulette wheel with a bunch of Super Bowl topics that we're going to talk about tonight. We're also going to do an extended Underdog Pick'em segment. We're going to give you a total of 12 Pick'ems that we like, so make sure you hang around for that. And, of course, we got an awesome nonsense draft tonight, so stay tuned.
Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah.
What is going on, and welcome to episode 415 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am, of course, your host, Jeff Lambert. Follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Of course, we're part of the GoingFor2 Live Podcast Network. Find us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We are now also live on TikTok as well. Of course, you can find us on all major podcast networks and at GoingFor2.com. I'm here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Ryan Searfoss. What's up, Ryan?
Oh, not much, man. Happy to be back after a long hiatus.
Yeah,
Wish it was on happier terms, but I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. Your Ravens unfortunately didn't make it to the big game. I was kind of hoping they would this year. It'd be the first time we had a show with your team in the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, it was not in the cards.
Yes. Was it the year before we started that our teams faced each other in the Super Bowl?
It was the year before.
I might just quit and see if that brings good luck.
Yeah, because I've lost a couple since then as well, so definitely not good. All right, tonight we got two guys joining us, both of them of the Going for2 family. First up, we got Danny Ocean. He is the host of the Speak On It podcast. You can find him on Tuesday nights right here at Going for2 Live, and follow him on Twitter at DannyOcean41. What's up, Danny?
Nothing much. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. Good. And of course, you are the diehard Eagles fan of the group here. I know you're excited. This is your second chance at the Chiefs. My team has had two chances, and we came up short on both of them. So hopefully, you have more success the second time around.
Seriously.
All right. Also joining us tonight, representing the Chiefs, Mike Hicks. He is, of course, he's of the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. He is also on Tuesday night. You can find him after Speak On It on Tuesday night. Follow him on Twitter at DropTheMikeFF. What's up, Mike?
Not much, Jeff. Just ready for this game and ready for the conspiracy theories to be over.
The only way that's going to end is if the Eagles win. So I don't know if you want.
Yeah, no, I know.
All right. As always, the show is brought to you by Underdog. They are celebrating the big game by giving everyone a no sweat entry, which means if you either win or get your money back in free bonus credits. If you haven't joined Underdog already, go ahead and join. Use our promo code GF2 and get bonus bucks up to $1,000. And when you make your first deposit, you will also get a free Travis Kelce pick. So yeah, definitely you want to grab that. I know Danny, you're new to the Underdog, so you're gonna get the no sweat bet. There it is on the screen there. You basically whatever you bet, you'll get your money back. If you lose, obviously if you win, you'll win some money. And of course, the Travis Kelce free pick for new users, basically 0.5 total yards for Travis Kelce. You can throw him into your little pick'em stack and make some money there as well. So Underdog's doing some big things for the big game. All right, we're going to kick it off with our nonsense draft.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, today we are drafting our favorite non-football related Super Bowl memories. So I didn't want to have like plays or games being sort of our favorite. I wanted other things sort of ancillary to the Super Bowl. It could be something personal to you. It could be, some kind of event that happened at the Super Bowl, anything like that. So we'll kick it off here with the 101, Danny.
I'm going to get a little sentimental with the first pick. I'm going to go Super Bowl 40, Pittsburgh, Seattle. I had just moved. My parents and I, my family, we just moved to a new home. My dad hosted a Super Bowl party. It was a lot of fun. I was too young to drink, but all the adults were there were some Steelers fans in there. It was just a good time. So I'm going to go Super Bowl 40. That's going to be the next one's going to be some foolishness, but I'm going to do the family thing first with Super Bowl 40 101.
I like it. Good stuff. Getting real personal on the 101. I love it. Mike, you got the 102.
I'm going the same direction that Danny did on the sentimental factor. I don't remember what number it is, but it was Green Bay against New England when Favre won that far back. Giants, my dad decided to have a Super Bowl party. The food was bratwurst and New England clam chowder.
Nice.
That was the start of every Super Bowl party being themed for the teams for food. And this was, you'll understand, Jeff, this was back when there was no technology like there is now. And my dad wanted a big projection screen, so we had to put up a tarp and block off the light all down the driveway and put the projection screen in the back of the garage.
Nice.
And since I was a teenager into football, they made me be in charge of the squares.
Nice. Good stuff, man. That's some great memories there. Love it. Ryan, you got the 103.
So I know it's based off of when my team won the Super Bowl in the blackout year, but it's the fact that I watched it at my friend's house, who was a Steelers fan, with about a dozen other Steelers fans as the only Ravens fan there, and just basking in their misery as my team won the Super Bowl despite the 49ers trying to cheat and make a blackout. It was amazing just how upset everybody was and just how happy I was, and just kept feeding into it. It's a feeling I think will never be beat.
Yeah, my memory of that Super Bowl is a lot different.
Yeah.
Like literally, my friend's house, we had cases, we had a couple kegs, and like they're all Steelers fans. We were in downtown Pittsburgh. Like, it was great.
Nice.
It was the atmosphere.
Nice. You were in enemy territory. I love it.
It's where to be.
All right, I'm going at the 104 here. I'm going sentimental as well. And Mike, you kind of hinted at how long I've been around on this earth. I'm going all the way back to the first Super Bowl that I can remember. It was the Redskins and the Denver Broncos. It was a blowout, but I think I was maybe 10 years old, and I wasn't allowed to stay up the whole night to watch the entire game. So I had to listen to the game in my room on AM radio. That's how back in the day it was. They didn't even have it on the FM channel. You had to watch it on the AM channel. So I listened to the end of that Super Bowl in bed on the AM radio. So, but it was pretty cool because, as a kid, I didn't realize it was a bad game. It was a blowout, 42-10. I think was the final score, but I like seeing all the scoring. Right, it wasn't a low scoring game. Seeing 42 points put up by the Redskins was pretty cool. I wasn't a fan of any team at that point, so that was a very good memory for me for sure. All right, Danny, back to you with the 201.
Yeah, so this one is complete and utter foolishness. I'm going to go back to Super Bowl 38, the infamous Janet Jackson halftime show in a room full of my uncles, and it happened, and I am early teens. I was like, I think that was her, you know what? And everyone, no, they would never do that on live TV. And then like 10 minutes later, it's like, no, that's exactly what it was. So suck it, old man. I know exactly what I saw.
And that's when Danny became a man.
Yeah, that's my coming of age story. Yeah.
Love it. All right, Mike, 202.
Showing my age a little bit again, but being the fact that, being 18, 20 years old and right at 2000. So a Super Bowl halftime show a couple years ago was like high school reunion when Eminem, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg got up there. That was like teenage years all over again. So I have to bring that up.
Yeah, I definitely had that one on my list for sure. That was pretty awesome. That was big time for me as well. I was a huge hip hop fan growing up. So yeah, that was big. I love that one. All right, Ryan, what you got at the 203?
I'm going off pure foolishness, kind of where he was, but in a more chaotic range, just because I enjoy watching the chaos. It was right when Philly won their last Super Bowl, and just going on Twitter and watching the videos of Eagles fans just acting a fool and throwing off telephone poles and lighting cars on fire. I think I was up till 3 in the morning just watching live feeds of Philly, just beating Philly, and it was amazing. I don't want the city to ever win Super Bowls or win anything, but it's so fun to watch. I want them to win this, so hopefully we have a recap of them just being foolish again.
Nice. Love it. So my final pick here at the 204 actually goes back to that same Super Bowl. And back then, online gambling was not legal. So I had to use Bovada, which is an off-site site that you used to bet on back in the day. And before the playoffs started, I put $10 on, I think, 4 different teams. And I put them on the 4 different teams that had the longest odds to win. So I was like, screw it. I'm just going to drop them on. And of course, the Eagles was one of those teams. You know, they just lost their starting quarterback. They had Nick Foles. There's no chance they're going all the way to the Super Bowl. I bet $10 and I won $1,000 on that $10 bet. And I was hooked on gambling ever since then. So unfortunately, Bovada kind of gave me the runaround and get my money. But it was pretty exciting to watch that game and to know that I had $1,000 on the line with the $10 bet. So that was pretty fun. So that was one of my best memories. All right, we're gonna jump.
DJ answer.
Yeah,
Such a DJ answer.
Yeah, it is definitely. I had to get that in there, right? All right, let's get to the roulette wheel.
Let's get ready for Armchair Fantasy Roulette.
All right, if you have not watched the show, this is how we do it. We load up a bunch of topics into the wheel. We don't know what's coming up next. Everything is randomized. I think tonight we got 16 different topics to discuss. So I'm going to go ahead and give the wheel a spin here and see what pops up. All right, right off the bat here, complaints about officiating. Obviously, Mike kind of alluded to it earlier. And I'm going to go to you first on this one, Danny. What are your thoughts on all these conspiracy theories? Do you buy into it? You really think that the Chiefs are getting the calls going their way more often than not?
Ask me Sunday night, and I'll give you my honest opinion. But I don't know if it's more so the conspiracy. I think Mahomes knows where the line is. Like, you'll see him run up the sideline, and as soon as someone commits to hit him, he's going to step out of bounds. He's going to get the call. He's going to scramble. And the second, again, in the Texans game, right, as soon as you commit to hit him, he's going to slide. He's going to take the hit. He's going to get the 15 yards. I don't know how you police that. Or, I mean, there's the flop on the sideline. That's the easy stuff. But again, when he knows the line and he knows that push comes to shove, I'll say he'll get some protections that maybe other quarterbacks don't get, but he knows where that line is. So, I can't hate him so much for manipulating that point.
Fair enough. What about you, Mike? I know you talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, but honest opinion, taking yourself out of the Chiefs' mindset, do y'all get more calls than everybody else?
I honestly 100% agree with Danny on this one, and I want to bring up the Houston one because I think he's playing he's playing the line of the rule. I think it's the rule that's being hated more than yes, Mahomes is being hated, but I think in reality, I think they need to change the rule where you can't drop down like that on the Houston on the slide. Maybe it is where it's reviewable or whatever the case may be, but like Danny said, if he's running on the sideline and he sees the guys coming and that guy's pulling up, he's going to take off for 3 more yards and then step out of bounds right when Cooper DeJean's running up on him. He's going to do that. And I think it's one of those ones where it's like, hate the game, but I do agree that he is skirting the line of I understand the complaint of him skirting that line of he knows what he's doing.
Pushing the envelope a little bit.
He's not dumb. He's doing it. He knows what he's doing.
Yep. Ryan, as a Ravens fan, what do you think about this whole conspiracy thing?
I think fans are crybabies about it. Like the refs are for anybody. It's not like they're complaining for calls or calling for pass interference while they're dropped back, like a certain quarterback. I can't remember what coach was talking about it, about how they act like they're like Kelsey. It was a big player. They were talking about like how they'll act like they're going to put a pick on somebody and like stop the last minute so somebody else runs wide open. Andy Reid just has the team coached so well and has them playing so within the rules but so close. That's the coaching. It's not the refs. It's just good coaching.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's people are just crybabies, and all sports fans are crybabies about things, and
Agreed.
it's just part of the game. Bad calls are part of the game. It happens for every team. Yes, they might get it more, but you have to adjust.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I do think that, Mahomes is sort of the face of the league, and, the star players typically will get those sort of 50-50 calls to go their way. And I'm going to go back to before the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, actually against the Chiefs, where it went against him. Mike, I'm sure you remember this, the championship game versus New England Patriots, when Tom Brady threw that interception. And he was lightly tapped on the helmet by a defensive player, and it was called back. Obviously, no interception. Chiefs would have won that game had that interception happened, and it didn't, because at that time, Tom Brady was the face of the league, and it's one of those, if he calls and it goes his way. So Mahomes has now stepped into that role where he's getting those calls. If it's a close call, they're going to err on the side of caution and give it to Mahomes. So I think fans see it as a conspiracy. I just think it's, the face of the league, and they're going to call those close calls the stars' way for sure. All right, let's go back to the wheel and see what else we can get up here. All right, Tom Brady in the booth. There's been some, a lot of talk about him. Some people seem to like him. Some people seem to hate him. I'm going to start with you this time, Ryan. Give me your thoughts on Tom Brady, just what happened his first year in the booth, and then him, broadcasting the biggest game of the year.
I mean, it's Tom Brady. They're gonna his name's the biggest draw you're gonna get. So that's why they do it. I think there were points he struggled. By the end of the year, he wasn't as bad as people made him out to be, though. Like it's fine. There's no really great announcers right now. Why not put the guy in who's gonna get more people? Come on, man. Like there's good ones, but like the ones who are getting prime time.
Yeah, there's no.
Let's be real. It was gonna be him Romo when they're
Collinsworth is right there. No
Colin-
one loves Collinsworth. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Collinsworth. I'm also really a big fan of Romo as well. Brady, I did kind of struggle listening to this year. He made a lot of mistakes. He messed up on players' names. Sometimes I think he was making stuff up as he goes along. I forget, there was something in the last game where he was talking about that's called a something, and I forgot what it was. And I feel like he just made that up like right at that point.
Probably.
Yeah, probably did. But
It's still he's just starting, man. Just imagine like your first year of podcasting, except they gave you $375 million.
Yeah,
You'll be a little nervous too.
Yeah, this is true.
But,
So Danny, how do you feel about Tom Brady? Obviously, you just made your case for Collinsworth, but Tom Brady in the booth, how do you think he did this year?
I think he got better. Like if you go back to week 1, I think what was that first game? It was a Dallas game, right? I just remember he had a game in Dallas and he was just putrid. And then like hearing him last week in the NFC Championship game was like, oh, okay, like he's cool. I'd prefer Greg Olsen over Tom Brady in the booth for the Super Bowl because Greg actually adds a little bit of insight. But yeah, Tom's okay. Like he's Tom, like Ryan said, like he's Tom Brady. Like, okay, we're gonna have to listen to you anyway. So like,
yeah,
you're fine.
Would you guys rather watch the Manning cast than listen to Tom Brady?
Oof. I don't know if I want to watch Peyton Manning watch a Super Bowl. My blood pressure is going to be high anyway, but watching it with Peyton, I might have a stroke.
Yeah, as an actual fan, probably not. But like of the teams, probably not. But like non-fan, I might rather watch them.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Where do you fall on this Tom Brady thing?
I agree with all you that he's gotten better, but I still don't think he's up to par. Yeah, it's his first year, but I don't think it's the name. I don't think he should be having it his first year. I think I agree with Danny in the sense of if it's going to be Fox, it should be Greg Olsen. But I'm going to go to the bigger picture. now that, and yes, this is me because I'm a Chiefs fan, but now that you're the owner of the Raiders, get out of the damn booth.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
It's true.
It's $375 million.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna do it one way or the other.
Yeah, just get your money, Tom.
I know.
Yeah,
You got divorce. You got a divorce to pay for.
For real.
Seriously.
Ryan just going straight to it. I love it. Yeah, I feel the same way y'all do. I think he got better as the year went on. I think there was better people to put in there, but they're paying him the $375. They're going to put him in the biggest game. I will say that he's now had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, so hopefully, Tom Brady's prep skills for being a quarterback were legendary. So hopefully he's able to prep enough that he's not making those mistakes and is able to sort of do a better job, because it's going to be under a microscope, right? Everybody's going to be picking him apart. So let's hope it's a good broadcast for sure.
They'll pick him apart if he does good, though. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. This is true. They will. Someone will find something wrong for sure. All right. This is going to the matchups in the game. And one of the top matchups is A.J. Brown versus Trent McDuffie. Obviously, a great cornerback this year. We're going to start with you, Mike, on this one. First of all, how do you feel about this matchup with McDuffie going up against A.J. Brown? And who do you think has the edge here?
I love the matchup, being a fan of the NFL. But A.J. Brown is a beast. But I think Trent McDuffie is going to hold his own. We'll talk a little bit more about picks later, but I'm more afraid of Devonta Smith in this game than I am AJB. I think that is the matchup that the Eagles are going to exploit more than the Trent McDuffie, A.J. Brown. I think McDuffie's going to hold his own, but I think Smith is going to be the one to have a game.
Yeah, good stuff. What about you, Danny? What are your thoughts here? A.J. Brown's kind of had a little bit of a down year from his production standpoint, because your team became a running play defense team and they weren't passing the ball so much. But A.J. Brown's still A.J. Brown at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, so for me, it depends on what Spags wants to do, right? Like, Jalen has been great against man. If you look at Trent McDuffie's spider chart, it's like, oh, he's small and he has small hands and he shouldn't be able to match with A.J. Brown, but he's just so competitive. I'm with Mike on this one. I think A.J. Brown is like, okay, like, we may get, 5 catches, 80-something yards. He might get a touchdown on a quick slant. I don't think Trent McDuffie is going to lock him down, but like Mike said, I think he'll be able to hold his own to the point where Spags will feel comfortable, sending that slot corner or sending a safety from depth, that if Jalen takes that one-on-one, that McDuffie, he might not win all of them, but he'll hold his own over the course of a game.
Nice. I like it. Ryan, now you're kind of a defensive guy because you being a Ravens fan for so long. Where do you lean with this matchup here?
I mean, this is kind of the spoiler for one of the pick'ems, which I think it sounds like Mike had a very similar one on pick'ems later. I think A.J. Brown, it's more of you're not fully stopping, he can slow him down enough where he may not hit the gambling numbers you want. But and then he takes a couple of plays, like you said, quick slant for a touchdown is an impact play in the Super Bowl. He may not impact you the way, like, high volume, high yardage, but there's going to be plays in the fact that Trent McDuffie can't leave him alone. It impacts it. But from like a betting perspective, I'm leaning away from him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as well. I think if I'm betting on this matchup, I'm not betting on A.J. Brown having a big game here. So I would temper expectations, but I do think he won't be shut down. It won't be like a one catch for 6 yards.
No. Like 3 to 5 catches, maybe 6 would be great. Like he said, if he has 6 for 80, that's a good game against Trent McDuffie.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, let's get back to the wheel. The quest for 3 in a row. So this has obviously never been done. It's been tried a couple times. It's never happened in the NFL. We're going to go to you first, Mike, on this one. What does this mean for Patrick Mahomes' legacy and his quote-unquote GOAT status if he gets this 3 in a row? It's never been done in the NFL.
I talked about this on another show last week. Because someone tried to say that he's already in the GOAT status. Even though I'm a Chiefs fan, right now, to me, he's still not quite there. Even though, I'm saying career right, like if it ended right now, he's in the top, but he's not quite there for the conversation quite yet. However, if he does this, even with 4, to me, he pushes himself right up there in the GOAT conversation, winning 3 in a row. And he might not need the 7 freaking rings that Mr. Broadcasting Buddy needs or has. I think if he wins this, 4 out of 4 in the last 6 or whatever the number, I can't remember the exact years, but whatever it is, I think that will bring his GOAT status up. The one to me that it affects even more is Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid I think this is going to propel Andy Reid even higher with having 3 in a row, 4, and then, what Andy's done as a coach.
Yeah, I think that's a good point there because no one's really talking about what it means for Andy Reid. Does this push him over Bill Belichick as far as one of the best coaches? Because, Belichick did it the same way for as long as he did with the same quarterback. Whereas Andy Reid has done it, obviously he had Patrick Mahomes, but he's also did it with the Eagles. He got them there. They didn't win, but he got them there. They were good when they had Alex Smith. They didn't win Super Bowl, but they were definitely still good. He's done it so many different ways. Even this Chiefs team now, it used to be high-flying Tyreek Hill, and now it's run the ball, play good defense, don't turn it over. They've, completely flipped the script there, and he's won in so many different ways. So that's a good point. I like that. Danny, I saw your eyes pop when you said that, when Mike said that he wasn't in the GOAT status right now. So what are your thoughts on the quest for 3?
Even right now, for me, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback who's ever played football. He's been in the AFC Championship game every year since he's been a starter. Even Tom Brady had down years. What was it, 10 years between Super Bowls?
That's right.
Patrick doesn't know what that's like. Patrick's, I'm going to get you to the AFC Championship game, and that's a bad season. 3, it just elevates his status even more. No one's ever done it. Like you said, if he wins this, it's 4 out of 6, 6 out of 6 in the AFC Championship game. Last year, he did it on the road. I'm sorry, Ryan. He went to Baltimore. He went to Buffalo.
Good.
He did everything everyone said he couldn't do. If he does a 3-peat, what else? He could retire tomorrow. What else does he need to do? He's done everything.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is I didn't go back and actually fact check this, but if I'm not mistaken, the 3 in a row, the third year for those other teams that almost did it, they did not have good seasons, and they didn't even, I don't think, even got the championship games. The Chiefs, lost very few games all season long, and pretty much they didn't roll through the season, but they were one of the best teams in the league all year. Where the other teams that had that opportunity, I remember my team had the opportunity at one point, and I think Joe Montana got hurt that year. We got bounced in the second round. We weren't even close to getting to a Super Bowl. Cowboys, same thing. They really didn't play well that year that they had the chance for 3. So the fact that the Chiefs are, back in the Super Bowl with the year that they just had, coming off 2 already, is pretty miraculous. Ryan, how do you feel about the GOAT status of Mr. Patrick Mahomes with the 3 in a row potentially?
He's not going to get a $375 million broadcasting deal with that voice, but now he's in he's in that conversation already. With winning Super Bowls he had, he's there. This just tightens it up. I know some people are gonna lean one way or another, and either way, you can't say one coach elevated the other that much more because they both have all-time great coaches. They've both been around all-time great tight ends. They've had great defenses. They've had very similar situations. In Mahomes, it's so impressive. And it's not just living in the pocket. It's making plays. It's creating. It's making just wow plays that you don't expect time and time again in clutch situations. The conversation is not over yet, but it is getting real tight. And I'm not going to be mad at anybody who argued either way.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's go back to
But before, can I ask you a question? You guys a question to kind of tighten that up. So Tom Brady has 28-3, right? That's his big one. If Patrick has a 3-peat, that's just way more impressive. Tom Brady, 23 is cool, but he did it 3 years in a row.
Yeah,
3-peat's absurd.
Yeah,
In this NFL, a 3-peat is absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you think about just the wear and tear in their bodies. They're playing more games than everybody else. 3 years in a row now they've done that, and they're still playing at the top of their game. It's pretty miraculous.
It's and back to what Mike said, Andy Reid, man, he needs more respect.
Yeah.
Like he's still not brought up in the same breath as Belichick. He may not be there, or he's damn close to. He needs that respect.
Agreed. All right, let's get back to the wheel. All right, let's talk about Jalen Hurts' odd journey, and this goes back to the last time they played, where he was a MVP candidate. He would have been a Super Bowl MVP had they won that game, most likely. This season has been a little bit different. He's gotten a little bit of heat for not, the passing game hasn't really been there. He's had games where he's thrown for 100 yards, but they still find a way to win the game because they got Saquon Barkley back there. I'm gonna go to you first, Danny. What do you think about the different route that Jalen Hurts has taken to the Super Bowl this year?
I think the biggest part of Jalen's story that we forget is he's had a different offensive coordinator every year he's played football since college. And it looks like Kellen Moore is going to New Orleans after the Super Bowl. He's going to stay there. So that means next year it'll be another new offensive coordinator, another new passing game. And that the lack of continuity for him over the course of his career, I think that's kind of hindered his passing and his ability. But he said it multiple times. It's about winning. I'm sure he'd love to throw up. I mean, look at the Rams, right? Matt Stafford had that great game in the snow and they lost. Like, I think I'd rather have Jalen with, 68 net passing yards in the win than 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. And I feel like he has said that multiple times. Like, we're just here to win. I don't care how it gets done. So it's fine with me.
Yeah, agreed. It's definitely it's something to talk about because it is a different way of getting there. We're used to seeing those high flying offenses get to the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts has kind of done it a different way. But it's good to see, right? I mean, he's just all about winning, and that's really what he's been doing since he became the starter there. What are your thoughts, Mike, on this Jalen Hurts thing?
I mean, I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. I mean, this team to get back to 2, I mean, how long has it been? 3 years? 2 and 3 or 2 and 4, whatever it is. For him to get there, like you said, Danny, I didn't realize it was every year, but to have as many, I knew he had a bunch of different OCs, but to have as many OCs as he has, the different philosophies of the team, yeah, they're still using the tush push or whatever, but for them to, be more of a passing team in 1 year and then they go more running. Now you get Saquon and they're even going heavier running, being able to take control of that locker room and control of that huddle, and having, AJ Brown's, praised him for, how he's been. Saquon's praised him, how he's been a leader of the team. I know there was those rumors, like, last year there was rumors in the offseason, like, oh, he didn't do this, was Kelsey, all that. I don't buy that stuff. He is the leader of this team, and even if they don't win against the Chiefs this year, I do see him winning a Super Bowl at some point in his career.
When Mahomes retires, apparently.
I mean,
Ryan, what about you? What are your thoughts on Hurts?
He's a very good quarterback. I mean, there's an upper echelon quarterback. He's not there, but he's very good, and he knows how to win. He's versatile enough. He can throw when need be and make plays with the playmakers surrounding him, and his rushing ability makes him dangerous. They built that team to succeed with his skill set, and Barkley just finished that off to make it kind of like the perfect touch for him. Not every guy's going to win a Super Bowl by themselves, and it's damn near impossible. They had great coaching, great management running that team, and he's a good leader because he's proven his whole career, even back into college, like he can deal with adversity between losing his starting job in the national championship and going out win the Heisman next year. He's been that dude who nothing phases him. And I think it's perfect for Philadelphia. It's perfect to drown out all that noise in media about him. It's a great match, and I think he's going to succeed in that town. Like I said, if it's not this year, he's going to be in that contention for a long time.
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all said there. And if I'm not mistaken, Danny, the last time y'all played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, your running back was Miles Sanders, right?
Yeah, it was Miles.
I mean, y'all got Saquon Barkley this year, and you got Saquon Barkley in the back, running for 2,000 yards. Your quarterback doesn't do much, right? I mean, he just has to not turn the ball over, make the plays when he has to. Obviously, he's got a bunch of rushing touchdowns that he kind of stole from Saquon, but he's done everything he needed to do to win this year, and they've had an amazing season. So as much as he gets the flack for not throwing for 300 yards every game, I think
who cares?
What was that?
Well, who cares? He's
Yeah.
not making mistakes, and that defense is stellar. Like
Agreed.
he's perfect for that team.
Ask any Bengals fan right now if they want the Joe Burrow big season that he had, or do they want Jalen Hurts' type of season where they're in the Super Bowl this year? I think that they would take the Jalen Hurts type season for sure. All right, let's get another topic up here for us. All right, another matchup to watch here. We just talked a little bit about Saquon Barkley, but Saquon Barkley versus this Chiefs defense that's been pretty good this season. I'm going to go to you first, Mike, on this one. He's probably the guy that I would think the Chiefs are most afraid of. They really don't want him to get started there. What are your thoughts on this matchup, and do you think the Chiefs defense can slow Barkley down?
If Philadelphia wins this Super Bowl, it's because of this matchup right here. Because I do think we can slow him down, but problem is slowing him down doesn't mean you like we were talking about A.J. Brown. Slowing him down doesn't mean that he's going under 50 yards. Slowing him down could be 75 yards, and if those are key 75 yards, we're still screwed. I think the running attack with him and Jalen is going to be the problem if we lose it for us and for the Chiefs in general. But yes, I am very afraid of Saquon Barkley. I do think he's going to have a good game, and we're just going to have to weather the storm and figure it out then.
Yeah, that's Barkley is the key, right? I think that he is the key to this entire game. And Barkley's one of those guys, you can hold him down for 3.5 quarters, and then you make one mistake, and he takes it to the house 70 yards, and he's back-breaking at that point. So
that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that one big play.
That one big play. I mean, we saw it in the first play of the game against the Commanders where he broke that long one, but there's been plenty of games where he wasn't having a great game going into the fourth quarter, and then he breaks off a couple big runs, and all of a sudden he's got 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you're like, "What? When did that happen?" Danny, you lost your camera, but you're still here on audio. So, what are your thoughts about this matchup here?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what Mike was saying. I think if you're the Eagles, running straight into the heart of the Chiefs defense isn't a good idea. So I wouldn't be shocked if you see a lot of pulling guards, pulling tackles. I'd love to see them when Chris Jones goes for a breather, tempo. Like if he's off the field, keep him off the field, run right down their throat when Chris Jones isn't there. And I think that's kind of the key for them. Like I would attack the edges more so than anything. I know Karlaftis is great rushing the passer, but I would force him to tackle Saquon over and over again. I'd run at McDuffie. I'd run at those corners. I'd run at those safeties. And I'd say, if you can tackle Saquon 15 times and hold him to 5 yards a carry, good for you. But at some point, you're going to break. He's going to make someone miss in space and crack off that 60 yards. So that's how I would attack the Chiefs if I was Kellen Moore.
Yeah, that's a really good point too, because they get him off the field, and he's sort of their game changer. If they get him off the field, get the tempo going, and have a good personnel out there, they can keep him off the field, and that's kind of how they can win this game for sure. Ryan, how do you see this going with Saquon Barkley versus the Chiefs run defense?
I think it's a tough matchup for them. If you look back, I mean, we've already made the parallels between the Chiefs and the old Patriots teams. And if you look at the Patriots when they played against the Rams, great show a few years ago, more than a few years ago, long time ago, it was hit Marshall Faulk every play, stop Marshall Faulk. He was that kind of back, and the whole offense revolved around him. Make the rest of the team beat you. And Spags is one of the smartest defense coordinators, and I'm sure in the league, and I'm sure he knows that offense runs through Jalen Hurts. We know that. We were just that offense runs through Barkley. We were talking about Hurts. They need to make it. This is all that noise we talk about Hurts and struggles this year. This game might come down more to him than Saquon Barkley, because I think they're going to focus on him and put the pressure on that passing game. And I think that's where the adjustment is. And I think Barkley, he may have a big player or two, but if they can keep that consistency down, that's what makes the difference.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Spags is known for his elaborate blitzes, but I wonder if he blitzes less in this game because you almost want to keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket so you have controlled blitzes if you blitz at all. But the problem with the blitz is if you get it wrong and it's a run play and they don't get Barkley, there's less guys to tackle him after he gets past that first.
But they've also, 0 100-yard rushes this year? Is that right,
Yeah.
Mike?
I think so. Yeah.
Is that the number?
It's like it's that or like one. I mean, it's very low. Yeah.
Yeah, like they know how to stop the run. Like that blitz is there. And that blitz comes a lot later in games than early in games.
Good point. Good point. All right, let's get to another topic here. To sort of get through these, I might not go to all three of you all on each of these. So if you wanted to chime in, just raise your hand. All right, this one is for you, Danny. The validation for Sirianni and Hurts. If they win this game, obviously Sirianni's had a very up and down season. He was hated by the fans at some points, and different things said about him in the media. But if he wins this game, how much of a validation is this for him as a good coach in the NFL?
Oh, I think it's the ultimate validation for him. I think Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, said his emotions are his greatest strength and his weakness, and I think that's the most accurate thing to say about Nick. I think there's tension between him and Jalen, but I think they're both professional to the point where it really doesn't matter. Like I think that straitjacket comment goes a little bit deeper than maybe Jalen wants to believe, and the way Nick was just like, "Oh, my quarterback, y'all!" Like, all right, like you're kind of laying it on thick with the praise, but whatever, man. As long as you win, none of that matters. But if he wins the Super Bowl, like it's him and Doug Peterson and Andy Reid, like that's it in Eagles history.
That's a good point. Good point. All right, let's get another topic up here we'll discuss. All right, this is the performance halftime show, Kendrick Lamar. I just want y'all opinion because I know the NFL kind of went through that period where they were having a bunch of like older type artists. They've gotten younger over the last couple of years, and Kendrick Lamar is probably the pinnacle of that right now. Mike, I'm gonna go to you first. What do you think of the halftime performance? Like, how do you think it's gonna go for Kendrick Lamar?
I mean, to your point about the older before or whatever, I mean, I think a lot of it's changed since. I mean, you, Danny or Ryan, you might know more than I do, but isn't Jay-Z still in charge of it or in charge of the? So with Jay-Z being in charge, I think that's a lot of it. I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't with them bringing out, like I brought her up earlier, with them bringing out Dre and Snoop in LA. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't go with like Lil Wayne. I know there were some talks about it. I'm a fan of Kendrick Lamar, but I'm not a giant Kendrick Lamar fan, so I'm okay with this. I'm more curious to see, besides SZA, who else comes out.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan? What are your thoughts when you first heard that Kendrick Lamar was going to be the halftime show?
I mean, it'll be a good show. Like he brings a ton of energy, and I'm sure he's gonna bring out some people. I think it's fine. I think there were things that were not football related on why he was that and not Lil Wayne because of issues with Drake and all that stuff.
Yeah,
which is a whole thing of itself and a whole conversation in itself. So it makes sense, but it's definitely to get a younger audience, and I can't wait to see all the old people on Facebook being upset.
Yeah, agreed. Danny, let me get your thoughts on this, and then we'll do one more topic as a group, and we'll get to our next segment.
You guys are being very modest. I'm looking forward to Drake's funeral here at the Super Bowl. He won. Kendrick won 5 Grammys last week.
Drake's had a rough couple years.
Yeah, it's about to get a lot rougher.
It's going to get worse.
2025 is going to be worse than 24.
Like next week is going to be the pinnacle. This is going to be the crescendo of the Kendrick-Drake conflict, and it's going to end on the Super Bowl stage. I'm interested. I don't think he's going to bring anybody out, but says I think he's going to. Did anyone watch his special on Amazon last summer?
I did not.
Like his concert.
No.
Okay, well, he played Not Like Us for like 15, 20 minutes straight. I think he's going to do his best to embarrass Drake in front of God in America.
Wow.
And those are the breaks. Like I don't know what to tell you.
I wonder if you can bet on that.
I think there is. I think I did see a bet about the set list, like the order.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I might have to put a bet on that if I can find it.
Imagine being Drake, and you have your $350,000 bet on the Super Bowl. You're losing, and then you're watching the halftime show and you have a stadium with 80,000 people saying a minor. Like,
Like calling you a pedophile. Everyone thinks you're
like the entire world singing along from their couches, calling you a pedo. Like,
So
it's a rough day for Drake.
I hope nobody hates me that much, and if they do, I'm glad they can't rap.
Good stuff. All right, well, let's do one more topic here, and we'll do this one as a group, and then we'll get to our next segment. Another matchup we got here: Patrick Mahomes versus the Eagles secondary. Now, the Eagles. So everyone knows that we do a DFS show on Friday night, and last season it was always pick on the Eagles defense. Whoever the quarterback was, whoever the receivers were, we wanted to play those guys against the Eagles defense. The Eagles secondary was absolute trash. They made a complete turnaround and now are the number one scoring defense and just an absolute beast. So, Danny, I want to go to you on this matchup here. Where do you see this advantage, Mahomes or Eagles secondary?
Oh, well, he's Patrick Mahomes. This is the matchup that wins the game. Vic Fangio's defense wants you to go down the field methodically, dink and donk, and his philosophy is like you're going to make a mistake at some point that's going to kill the draft, but that's how the Chiefs want to play. The Chiefs don't have a lot of explosive plays, 6 yards here, 4 yards there, methodically. I think they have the average long. I think they average 3 minutes per drive or 3 minutes and 7 seconds, which is like the longest in the NFL. So Patrick has no problem doing that, and the Chiefs are kind of used to doing that. I'm interested to see if Vic Fangio kind of changes the stripes and see if he can make Patrick uncomfortable. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how you make him uncomfortable. I would not blitz him. That's a terrible idea, but you got to do something. If you let him, do what he wants to do, like it's going to be a long night even for that defense.
Yeah, I think I agree 100%. Like the Eagles secondary does do that. They force you to dink and dunk. And Mahomes has shown over the last 2 years, really, that he's perfectly safe or perfectly comfortable just dinking and dunking, having those 15 play drives for sure. What about you, Mike? What are your thoughts here with this matchup?
I don't like it because you are right. Last year, you wanted to go against this team. Now, like you said, they flipped it. You got Slay, you got Gardner Johnson, you got Cooper DeJean. And like Danny said about the dinking and dunking, Mahomes is great at that. But when he has struggled is when he's had to struggle, not struggle on a full game, but like it's going to be those moments. It's going to be those key moments of is he going to do this? Like you said, Danny, about, is Fangio going to make him do something? When he has had to play hero ball is when I get scared, because when he has to play hero ball for a drive or this or that, there's going to be those key drives. It might be one drive at the end of the second quarter, depending on where the ball's at, in the second half, whatever, or at the, third quarter, whatever, where if he has to play hero ball and he's running to the sideline and he decides, I'm going to throw it to Kelsey in the middle of the field. No, that ain't going to work against his defense this year. And that's what Fangio is going to try to do.
Yeah, I agree there. I think that, Mahomes has played hero ball in the past, but he's also had guys like, Tyreek Hill that he can just throw the ball as far as he can and get Tyreek Hill's going to find it. Or even Kelsey, who's had a down season. He always finds Kelsey, but Kelsey hasn't really been that guy this year. I think if the Eagles can find a way to make him feel uncomfortable, who's going to be that guy to step up and get open on those scramble plays where he's extending drives? So, yeah, it's definitely something to watch for sure. What about you, Ryan? What are your thoughts here with Mahomes against the secondary?
So one nice thing about the Rams fan this year is they played every single good team in the league and played against Chiefs, Eagles, whoever. And the Eagles, the secondaries was great, but it's that pass rush of theirs that causes the secondary to be there and make quarterbacks uncomfortable because they can get at you with 4 guys. They have absolute monsters in the middle that flushes the quarterback to one side or the other. It's going to be, can they get rid of the ball fast enough? Are they going to be pressured or before that pressure rate's there? And if the Eagles can get out of the lead, it gets worse. I think if they can keep it close, that dinking dunking can work. But dude, that team gets after the quarterback. And yeah, the secondary is great. They make plays, but they're making plays because the quarterbacks are so uncomfortable the entire time. And teams are one-dimensional because the Eagles are so hard to run against.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's all because of those 4 guys, that front 4. in that rotation they have of those guys. It gets after the QB and it causes chaos.
Yeah, I actually noticed that when I was going through the Underdog props that there's like 3 or 4 defensive players for the Eagles that are in the props for getting sacks. Whereas with the Chiefs, it's like one guy. He's the prop for the sacks, but on the
And they're
Eagles,
all D linemen.
yeah, they're all D
And they
line.
just get after it.
Yep, agreed. All right, that wraps up the roulette. Let's go ahead and jump into our Underdog segment, the prop bets of the week.
Prop bet of the week.
All right, the way we're going to do this, we usually just split it. We'll do one three stack pick 'em, but because it's a Super Bowl, we're each going to do our own 3-pack. So we'll kick it off here with you, Ryan. Give me your 3-pack that you want to go with here.
I just closed it. I am going with Devonta Smith over 50.5. We talked about it before. That McDuffie, AJ Brown matchup's rough, and the ball's going to have to go somewhere else. And I think they're going to focus on Barkley. So I believe Devonta Smith should have a good game, and 50.5 really is not that big. Second one I'm taking is Jake Elliott over 1.5 field goals made. That Chiefs defense clamps down in the red zone and plays really well down there. I think Philly can move the ball and may struggle when they get close. And points will be at a premium with these defenses. And I think the automatic easy one is Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. That's definitely one that I've looked at as well. And I want to go ahead. I'm going to apply, Ryan. I'm going to apply the no sweat credit to your bet here. So we're going to go ahead and hit the apply just to show the audience how easy it is to do. And then we're going to we'll put $5 on Ryan's bet here.
Well, so little confidence in mine that I have to have no sweat.
Yeah.
All right, and it won't give me the. Wonder why it's not giving me. Oh, I have to pick. I don't know why it's not giving me the.
You want to add one more?
Let's add one more. Let's see if that's what I got to do. Give me one more here.
Pat Mahomes under 250.
Pat Mahomes lower than 250. There we go. I think I didn't have enough odds for it to work. All right, this is it. $5 to win 45. We're putting in Ryan's pick here. Go ahead and confirm that one. And all right, that one is locked in. And I'm a little out of sync. I forgot to do the live read before we got to this, so let me go ahead and do it now. Underdog is celebrating the big game by giving everyone a no sweat entry, what we just put on Ryan's bet. That means you basically win or you get your money back in a free bonus credit. If you are not on Underdog, it is simple. Just go to download the app, Underdog. Use our promo code GF2, and first-time users will get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, bonus bucks, and you also get a free Travis Kelce pick, which I'll bring up the graphic here. Essentially, you get the free pick that you can put into any of your pick'ems to increase the odds a little bit. So definitely go to underdog.com and use promo code GF2. Danny, you're up next. Give me your 3-pack pick here.
Okay, so some of these are kind of some deep cuts. The first one I have is Jake Elliott under 6.5 points. Jake has struggled this season. I think against the Chiefs, Nick is going to be ultra aggressive. I don't think he's going to trot Jake Elliott out there, even unless he absolutely have to. I don't think the Eagles trust Jake Elliott at all. He's missing extra points. He's missing long field goals. I think Nick Sirianni is going to have to be aggressive. So I'm going to take Jake Elliott under 6.5 points.
We're a little opposite.
Milton Williams over, I think it's half a sack. The strength of the Chiefs' defensive line is their center and their right guard. That's where Jalen Carter lines up. They're going to be too busy with him. Milton Williams, he's going to get a bag this offseason, and I think this is going to be like a legacy game. I think Milton Williams is going to have a big game against the Chiefs. I know, Mike, if I'm mistaken, like your left guard, your left tackle, and your right tackle are kind of your weak spots.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Milton's going to take advantage of some of those one-on-ones and catch Patrick slipping once or twice.
His name is false start Jawan Taylor.
Yeah, have fun, Nolan. And then the last one I have, and this is going to be a little interesting. Pat Mahomes over 31 rushing yards. QBs who can scramble have given the Eagles fits at times. Jaden Daniels gave him fits. I'm not saying Patrick is as athletic as Jaden Daniels, but I do see a couple of times where Patrick gets out of the pocket and scrambles, and he just gives one of those Pat Mahomes scrambles when it matters. I know that is a long shot. That's the longest of the long.
Yeah, I love it. I love
But
it. Elliott, I'm going to recap it. Jake Elliott lower than 6.5 points. Milton Williams, deep cut. You said higher than half a sack. And then Patrick Mahomes higher than 31.5 rushing yards. We're going to drop our $5 on there.
Jeff, that bet didn't go through for mine, not because of not enough people in it. It's because it said you have to have a parlay of more than you have to have somebody from bet on both teams.
Okay.
It's had a warning before that Mahomes went on that has to have one leg from the other team.
From the other team, that makes sense. All right. Let's drop that in there. 61. So $5 to win $61. And Mike, you are up for yours now.
All right. So for the Eagles, one thing that the Chiefs struggled with earlier in the season, not as much at the end, but they still struggle against tight ends. I am going over 52.5 yards for Dallas Goedert, or higher than 52.5 for Goddard.
All right. It's got Dallas Goedert higher than 52.5. What you got for your second pick?
My second pick, I am going higher than a half a rushing plus receiving touchdown for Kareem Hunt.
So higher, what was it again? Say it one more time.
Over a half a rushing / receiving touchdown.
So essentially an anytime touchdown.
Yeah, anytime TD. Yeah. Gotcha. I'm just trying to, I'm being good.
All right. And give me your third leg.
And here's the deep cut. Not as deep cut as Danny's sack pick, but because of giving Andy Reid 2 weeks to prepare, Noah Gray over 1.5 receptions.
Oh, I like it. All right. So we got picks from both teams. Let's go ahead and drop $5 on that one. And $5 to win $36 essentially on this one for Mike. Again, we recap it. It is Dallas Goedert higher than 52.5 receiving yards. Kareem Hunt higher than half a rush or receiving touchdown. And Noah Gray higher than 1.5 receptions. Let's go ahead and drop $5 on that one. And then we will do mine. So I'm going with so I think the Eagles are going to come out and they are going to try to establish Saquon Barkley early, which is why I'm going to take his higher on his first quarter rushing yards, which is 25.5 in the first quarter, because they're going to find a way to get Saquon Barkley the ball as much as they possibly can. Then I'm also going to go to Mike mentioned it already with Dallas Goedert. He went receiving yards because the Chiefs are bad against the tight end. I'm actually going to go with if I can find him. There he is. I'm going with the touchdown. He's going to get a touchdown in this one, so I'm going higher with the rush and receiving touchdown. And then my favorite pick, and I've been playing this on multiple sites. Unfortunately, Underdog does not let me stack the same player twice. But as soon as I find him on the screen here, I am going to go higher. Where is he's on here somewhere? I'm looking for DeAndre Hopkins. If y'all see him, let me know because I'm scrolling and I just don't see his name on here. There we go. Yeah. I'm going higher than 1.5 receptions for DeAndre Hopkins. I think this is his first Super Bowl. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's arguably, a Hall of Famer potentially. They're going to find a way to get him involved in this game. They're going to find a way to get him the ball, and I think he has more than 2 catches. If you're playing on other sites that allows you to stack, I would also take his higher on 12.5 receiving yards as well, because I think he's going to be able to hit both of those marks. But I love any DeAndre Hopkins type bets. If you really want to get tricky, go with the touchdown. But I do definitely like his higher than 1.5 receptions on Underdog. Drop my $5 on this one, and $5 to win $55. Drop it in there. All right, y'all. It is that easy to play Underdog. It is simple to play. It's also legal in more states than DraftKings and FanDuel, because you have to pick 3 players, unlike DraftKings where you can just bet on 1 player. So go get the app right now. Use promo code GF2. Get your up to $1,000 bonus bucks. Get your free Travis Kelce pick. It's a lot of fun. Makes the game more interesting. If you're not a fan of these teams, which I'm not, I put a lot of money on Underdog and DraftKings to make the game more interesting for myself. So yeah, definitely go do that, guys. It's a lot of fun. Easy to sign up, easy to play. All right, fellas. Let's close this out here. Let me stop sharing my screen here so we can get back to. So I can see y'all pretty faces, except for Danny, whose camera went out for some reason. It's all right, because Danny has the $1 million voice anyway, so all we got to hear is his voice. All right, fellas, let's wrap this up. We'll go around. I want everybody to make their Super Bowl pick, and you can pick it like a prop. I mean, pick it like like you're gambling. You can do you can take the points. You can do over unders, however you want to call it. If you want to just pick it straight up, you can do that as well. So Ryan, let's go to you first.
I'm gonna go Chiefs low scoring game 28-24.
28-24 Chiefs. All right. Let's go to you next, Danny.
I got the Eagles winning 27-21. Saquon Parker, he's going to strike at one point. You can try, but at some point he's going to rip one. I think he's done so many times for the Eagles this year, he's going to break the game.
Yeah, I think I put a bet on a Barkley 40+ yard rushing touchdown on DraftKings. I think he gets that. It's a pretty good prop bet there. All right, Mike, what you got for your call in this game?
I'm gonna go 27-24 Chiefs.
27-24 Chiefs. Surprise, surprise! The Chiefs fan picks the Chiefs, and the Eagles fan picks the Eagles. Big surprise!
I wanted to pick the Eagles, by the way. I just couldn't do it.
Just couldn't do it.
I'm gonna be sweating all the way to the last buzzer. I mean,
yeah.
I'll be enjoying whatever movie I'm going to see.
So I am taking the Eagles plus the 1.5. I think it's going to be a very close game. It's going to come down to the wire. I'm hoping the Eagles can pull out the victory, but I think if they don't pull it out, it'll be that close to the game within 1.5. So I will take Eagles plus 1.5. All right, fellas, that wraps everything up. That wraps up the show. We'll go around the room here real quick. Give us your Twitter handle. If you're working on anything that you want to plug, go ahead and do that as well. We'll start with you, Mike.
You can find me at Drop the Mike FF. Probably starting in mid-March, back with the fantasy cheat sheet every other Tuesday night until the summer, and then back to every Tuesday night. With Jamie, who's always in every chat you go in the internet's. If he's not on a show, he's in a chat. But other than that, go Chiefs and enjoy your Sunday.
Good stuff. Danny, what you got going on?
You can find me on that X app and Blue Sky at Danny Ocean 41. Catch me in Losty Mix every Tuesday night. I'll say 7:30, but it's usually 7:45 because one of us is usually running late. Every Tuesday, no off season, all the time, and go Birds.
Good stuff. And Danny and them, they talk more than just football. So if you're a fan of other sports, they talk about everything. So it's one of our favorite shows to watch for sure. All right, Ryan, what you got going on?
Find me here. I guess we're going to be back, every Wednesday now? Or what? I don't know what our schedule is anymore. We're doing rookies now. That's when I'll start watching film finally, since my football boycott's going to be over in a few days. So that's cool. But yeah, we doing rookies here. Find me over at the Dynasty Big Board. We just did our first startup mock draft of the year last night. So you can see some psychopaths pick. That was cool. But yeah, it's rookie season.
Yep, absolutely. And just to piggyback on what Ryan says, so I know in the past, me and Ryan have always promised that we were going to do rookie profile shows, and we can just never fit it into our schedule. So this year, we're actually going to do it on our regular night. We'll record 2 10-minute or less rookie profiles every Wednesday, which will be in place of our show. And we'll do that pretty much until probably the end of March. We still will have some full-length shows occasionally, but I wanted to get these rookie profiles in. So you could start finding those February 19th. I believe we're kicking it off with Tet McMillan and I believe Ashton Genty, if I'm not mistaken, are our first 2 that we'll kick it off with. So make sure you check that out. You can find it everywhere. Like I said, we're live on TikTok now. So if you're on TikTok, you can find us there. You can find us on Facebook, find us on YouTube, anywhere that we, any podcast as well. All right. That wraps up the show. For Mike, for Ryan, for Danny, I am Jeff, and enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend, and we'll see y'all afterwards.